The sun was high above the jungle, but little light reached the ground. Thick trees stood like ancient towers, their branches spreading wide, their roots tangled deep into the soil. Every step was a struggle. The air was heavy with heat and filled with the sound of insects. Mark wiped the sweat from his forehead as he pushed a large leaf aside. He was the leader of a small expedition, and his team followed close behind. They had been walking for days through the jungle. Their goal was not treasure or gold but knowledge. Old maps had shown strange markings in this region, and satellite images hinted at unnatural shapes beneath the trees. Mark believed something important was buried here. Anna, the team's historian, walked beside him. She carried a notebook filled with sketches of carvings and ruins from nearby villages. She often stopped to compare the jungle surroundings with her notes. Behind her was Luis, a young engineer carrying scanning equipment strapped to his back. The last member was Daniel, the quiet but strong guide who knew the jungle better than anyone else. The group reached a clearing where the ground dipped slightly. The soil here felt different, harder beneath their boots. Mark knelt and pressed his hand against the ground. It did not feel like simple earth. It was as if stone lay just beneath the surface. "Strange," Mark said, his voice low. Luis quickly set down his scanner. The device hummed and sent pulses into the ground. A moment later, the screen lit up with lines forming sharp angles. Luis frowned, then turned the screen so the others could see. "This is no natural formation," Luis said. "It looks like walls. Straight lines, perfect corners. Something big is under us." Anna's eyes widened. She brushed away some dirt with her hands and uncovered a small piece of carved stone. The design was unlike any she had seen before. It was not Mayan or Aztec. The patterns were geometric, almost mathematical, with symbols that looked like stars. Mark felt his heart quicken. "We are standing on top of something," he whispered. "Something ancient." Daniel stayed quiet, but his eyes scanned the trees. He had guided many explorers before, and he knew the jungle well. But this place felt different. The air was colder, and the silence was heavy, as if the forest itself was watching them. The team worked together to clear more of the ground. Vines and roots clung to the stone beneath the soil. As they pulled them aside, more carvings appeared. Strange shapes spread across the stone like maps of the sky. Luis tapped the ground with a metal tool, and the sound echoed hollow. Everyone froze. That echo meant there was an empty space below. "This is not just a flat stone," Anna said softly. "There is a chamber under us." Mark stood and looked at the clearing. The shape of the ground around them began to make sense. It was not random. It sloped in patterns, forming faint steps covered by centuries of soil and plants. His eyes followed the lines, and then it struck him. "A pyramid," Mark said, his voice firm now. "Buried beneath the jungle floor." Anna placed her hand on the carvings and closed her eyes for a moment. She could almost feel the history trapped inside the stone. "If this is true," she said, "then this site is older than anything we know. It may not even be from our people." Luis looked confused. "What do you mean?" "The symbols," Anna explained. "They are not from any culture recorded in this land. They look like they belong to the stars." Daniel finally spoke, his deep voice steady. "If this place was hidden, maybe it was meant to stay hidden." Mark turned to him. "Or maybe it was meant to be found. By us. By humans of this time." The group grew silent. Only the sounds of the jungle filled the clearing again. Birds called from high above, and insects buzzed through the thick air. Yet beneath it all was the quiet, steady hum of mystery, as if the ground itself was alive. Mark felt the weight of the moment. They had not just discovered a ruin. They had found a secret buried for centuries, waiting for the right hands to uncover it. He looked at his team and saw the same mixture of fear and wonder on their faces. "This is only the beginning," Mark said. "We will return tomorrow with better tools. We will open the ground and see what lies beneath." The team gathered their things and prepared to leave the clearing. As they walked back into the jungle, Anna looked over her shoulder one last time at the carvings glowing faintly in the fading light. For a brief moment, she thought the symbols shimmered, as if alive. She blinked, and the glow was gone. The jungle swallowed their footsteps, but the pyramid waited beneath the earth. Silent. Patient. Watching. And now, after centuries of silence, it had been found. The next morning, the jungle air was cool, but the heat was waiting to rise again. Mark and his team stood at the clearing where they had made their discovery. Each of them carried tools, ropes, and lanterns. The carvings they had uncovered yesterday were now half hidden again under fallen leaves, but the stone still gave off its strange presence. Luis had already set up his scanner again. He studied the screen, adjusting the settings with sharp focus. "The readings are clearer now," he said. "There is a hollow structure beneath us. Large chambers. At least 3 levels deep." Mark nodded. "Then we need an entry point. Let's start digging where the echo was strongest." They worked for hours, cutting through roots and pushing soil aside. The ground was stubborn, as if it did not want to let go of its secret. Sweat rolled down their faces, and their clothes clung to their skin. Still, they pressed on, driven by curiosity stronger than fatigue. At last, Daniel's shovel struck something solid. The sound was sharp and hollow. He cleared away the soil with his strong hands, revealing a flat stone surface. When he brushed the dirt aside, a narrow opening appeared, like the edge of a sealed shaft. "This is it," Mark said, his voice calm but filled with excitement. With careful effort, they widened the opening. A dark shaft descended into the earth, its sides lined with smooth stone. The air rising from below was cooler than the jungle air, carrying a faint metallic scent. Anna peered into the shaft with her lantern. The light fell on walls carved with more symbols, glowing faintly as though touched by her presence. She gasped softly. "These are not just decorations," she whispered. "They are maps. They look like constellations." Mark secured a rope and tested its strength. "We go down one at a time. Slow and steady." Daniel went first, his movements strong and steady. He reached the bottom and called up that it was safe. One by one, the others followed, until the whole team stood inside the shaft. The air was silent here, heavy but clean, untouched by time. They found themselves in a long corridor. The walls were smooth stone, unlike anything the team had ever seen in ruins before. There were no cracks, no signs of erosion, as if the passage had been built yesterday. The glowing symbols lined the walls in patterns that seemed to shift when looked at from different angles. Luis held his lantern higher. "This is not human design," he said quietly. "Stone this perfect cannot last so long without breaking. And these lights, they react to us." Mark walked forward slowly, his eyes scanning every detail. "Then this place was waiting for someone. Waiting for us." The corridor sloped downward, leading them deeper into the earth. Their footsteps echoed softly. Anna's heart raced with every step. She had studied many ruins in her life, but nothing felt like this. Here, history and mystery blended into something greater, something that felt alive. At last, the corridor opened into a vast chamber. Their lanterns revealed a high ceiling supported by pillars carved with the same star-like designs. The chamber stretched wide, and at its center stood a large stone platform. On its surface lay strange metallic panels covered in dust, their edges glowing faintly like fading embers. Anna's breath caught. "This is not a tomb," she said. "It looks like a place of machines." Mark stepped closer to the platform. He brushed away the dust with his hand, revealing a surface smooth as glass. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, as his palm touched the cold surface, a faint hum rose through the chamber. Lights flickered across the walls, chasing away the shadows. The team froze, staring in awe. Symbols across the chamber came alive, glowing brighter. Above the platform, a faint image appeared, shimmering like smoke. It took shape slowly, forming what looked like a map of the stars. Dozens of bright points floated in the air, connected by lines. At the center was a glowing mark that pulsed with steady light. Luis whispered, "That is our star. Our Sunday." The image shifted, showing paths leading outward from Earth toward other stars. Anna stepped forward, her notebook forgotten in her hand. "It is a chart," she said. "A guide to somewhere else." Mark stared at the glowing vision. His voice was calm but filled with wonder. "This pyramid is not just a ruin. It is a message. Someone built this long ago and left it here for us to find." The chamber continued to hum softly, as if pleased to be awake again after ages of silence. Yet in the silence between the echoes, Daniel's sharp ears caught something else. A low vibration, like distant movement, deeper in the pyramid. He placed his hand on the hilt of his knife and said quietly, "We are not alone down here." The others looked at him, their excitement replaced by unease. The lights of the chamber flickered for a moment, as if warning them. The jungle above had hidden this place for centuries, but now that they had stepped inside, the pyramid was no longer silent. Something deep below had stirred. The hum of the pyramid echoed softly through the stone walls, as if the whole place had come alive. Mark's team stood in silence, their lanterns glowing weakly compared to the strange light now pulsing across the carvings. The air was cooler, sharper, filled with a faint metallic taste. Luis kept staring at the floating star map above the platform. His eyes widened as he traced the glowing lines. "This is not just a chart," he said. "It is a system. It shows routes. Paths from one star to another." Anna's hand trembled as she wrote down hurried notes, though her eyes never left the glowing projection. No human civilization could have made this. Whoever built this place was from the stars themselves. Mark listened but kept his attention on the walls. The symbols shifted faintly, as if alive, changing as the star map pulsed. He had led expeditions before, but this was unlike anything he had ever seen. For the first time, he felt small, standing inside a secret that reached beyond Earth. Daniel's deep voice broke the silence. "Look there," he said, pointing to a section of the chamber behind the platform. The team turned their lanterns toward the shadows. At the far end of the chamber, half buried under centuries of dust, stood strange metallic shapes. They were large, like statues, but their smooth design was unlike any stone carving. Pipes, panels, and gears were fused into the walls. Some glowed faintly, others were dark and lifeless. Mark approached slowly. His boots stirred clouds of dust as he stepped closer to the strange machines. He reached out his hand and brushed away the dirt covering one of the panels. Beneath his touch, the surface lit up with pale blue light. The machines responded. A low vibration filled the chamber. Panels slid open, and parts of the machines shifted, as though stretching after a long sleep. The team stepped back in shock, their lanterns shaking in their hands. "Are they alive?" Luis whispered. "No," Anna said, her voice shaky but steady. "They are machines. Old machines. But they still work." Mark studied them closely. The machines seemed to be arranged in a pattern around the chamber, as if protecting the central platform. Some were tall and slender, like towers, while others were short with wide panels covered in markings. They did not move fully, only pulsed with light, but the sight filled the humans with both awe and unease. Luis crouched near one of the smaller panels, his curiosity pushing him forward. "Look at this," he said, pointing to a glowing line of symbols. "It is not random. It looks like data. Like a program waiting to run." Anna joined him and compared the markings to her notebook. "These are not words. They are instructions. Whoever built this place left these machines for a purpose." Mark placed a hand on his shoulder. "Be careful. We don't know what these machines are meant to do." But before Luis could reply, the central platform flared with light again. The star map shifted, the glowing lines rearranging themselves. This time, the image showed not just stars but a planet, blue and green, spinning slowly in the air. Anna gasped. "That is Earth." The team stared in silence as the holographic Earth floated above the platform. Then, the projection zoomed outward, showing Earth's place among the stars. A bright line connected Earth to one of the distant points on the chart. Luis's voice shook. "It is showing us a path. A connection from Earth to another world." The chamber grew brighter as if agreeing with his words. The machines pulsed in rhythm, their light flowing across the walls like veins. It was as if the pyramid was speaking to them, trying to be understood. But then, the ground trembled slightly. A low rumble echoed from deeper below. Dust fell from the ceiling, and the star map flickered. Daniel tightened his grip on his lantern. "Something is moving down there," he said firmly. Mark raised his voice. "Stay together. Whatever this place is, it is not empty." The machines shifted again. One of the tall constructs released a sharp sound, like a note of warning. A line of symbols appeared across its surface, glowing brighter than before. Anna quickly read them, her heart pounding. "It says Guardian. This is not just a chamber of machines. It is a hall of protection. The builders left something here to guard the secret." Silence followed her words, heavy and tense. The machines dimmed slightly, as if watching the humans carefully. The projection of Earth hovered quietly in the center, its glow steady, waiting for a response. Mark's eyes hardened. He understood now that this discovery was more than a ruin. It was a message from beyond Earth, hidden beneath the jungle floor, waiting for humanity to find it. But with every light that came alive, with every sound that echoed from the deep chambers, he knew the pyramid was far from lifeless. Something had awakened. And the true test of their journey was only beginning. The star map hovered in the air, glowing softly. The machines around the chamber pulsed with light, their rhythm steady like the beat of a heart. Mark's team stood close together, their lanterns almost useless against the strange glow of the pyramid. Then the hum deepened. The ground trembled, and the tall machine at the far end of the chamber began to change. Its panels slid apart, gears turned, and joints shifted. Slowly, the figure unfolded from the wall, rising higher and higher until it towered over the humans. It was shaped like a giant, made of polished stone and metal, with glowing lines running across its body. Its head turned with a heavy sound, and two bright eyes lit up like twin flames. The team froze, caught between fear and wonder. Anna clutched her notebook close to her chest. Her voice was low but steady. This must be the Guardian. It was left here to protect the pyramid. The Guardian's voice filled the chamber. It was deep, layered with echoes, speaking in a language none of them had heard before. The words were harsh yet strangely musical, vibrating in their bones. Louise stumbled back. "We don't understand it." Anna quickly activated her small translation device, one she had carried for studying ancient tongues. The device flickered, catching fragments of the Guardian's speech. A rough translation came through, broken but clear enough. "Identify intruders or allies," the voice said. Mark stepped forward. Though fear pressed against him, he forced his voice to remain calm. "We are explorers. We came seeking knowledge, not harm." The Guardian lowered its head, scanning him with a beam of light. The beam moved across Mark's body, then across the others. The chamber grew silent as the Guardian processed what it found. Finally, its voice returned. "You are human. The chosen inheritors. Yet you enter unprepared." "Purpose?" Anna answered quickly. "We only wish to learn. We found the pyramid by chance. We want to understand what it holds." The Guardian paused, its eyes dimming slightly, as though in thought. Then the chamber lights brightened, and the projection of Earth appeared again above the central platform. The Guardian pointed a long metallic arm toward it. "Knowledge hidden. For your kind. Protected until ready. Now you wake it." Mark took a careful step closer. "If it was meant for us, then we are ready. We came here with respect, not greed." The Guardian's eyes glowed brighter. "Respect is strength. Greed is weakness. Many before you sought this place. They failed. You succeed." Louise whispered to Anna, "Others tried to find this place. But no one ever spoke of it." Anna shook her head. "Maybe those who tried never returned." The Guardian turned its gaze toward the walls, and the glowing symbols shifted again. This time, the projection showed more than stars. It showed strange ships, sleek and sharp, moving across space. Then it showed Earth again, surrounded by glowing lines. "Others search still," the Guardian said. "They desire what is not theirs. They will come. This place was hidden to protect you. Now it is seen." The words sent a chill through the team. Mark tightened his fists. "If danger is coming, then tell us how to stop it. How do we defend ourselves?" The Guardian leaned closer. Its massive frame cast shadows across the chamber. "Defense begins with knowledge. Knowledge begins with courage. You must carry the key." From its chest, a small compartment opened, revealing a crystal-like object glowing with pale blue light. The Guardian held it out in a massive hand. The crystal floated gently toward Mark, settling into his palms. It was warm, humming softly, as if alive. "This is part of the map," the Guardian said. "It holds memory. Power to awaken what sleeps. With it, you may walk the path. But beware. Once the path is open, enemies will follow." Mark closed his hands around the crystal. A weight pressed upon him, not of the object itself, but of its meaning. It was more than a key. It was responsibility. Anna's voice was quiet but filled with awe. "This is why the pyramid was hidden. Humanity was not ready until now. The Guardian straightened, its towering form glowing brighter. Test has begun. Choice is yours. Take knowledge, or leave and forget. But know this silence is broken. They are near. The chamber rumbled again, louder this time. Dust rained from the ceiling. Deep below, something stirred, echoing like thunder beneath the stone. Daniel stepped closer to Mark. His voice was firm. We have to move. Whatever is down there is waking too. Mark nodded but kept his eyes on the Guardian. We will not turn away. Humanity deserves to know the truth. We will take the knowledge, and we will face whatever comes. The Guardian's bright eyes fixed on him. Then you are worthy. The lights in the chamber dimmed slightly, and the Guardian stepped back into the shadows, its body returning to stillness. Only its eyes remained glowing, like watchful stars. The star map above the platform flickered once more, showing Earth and the line stretching outward to the distant stars. The message was clear. The pyramid was no tomb, no relic of forgotten people. It was a bridge between worlds, a signal from the past to guide humanity toward the future. But it was also a warning. For the jungle above was no longer silent. Something else was drawing closer, something that had waited for the pyramid to awaken. The chamber's glow softened, but the crystal in Mark's hand pulsed with steady light. He held it tightly, feeling its warmth spread through his skin. Around him, the others watched in silence, their eyes fixed on the strange object. It was no simple stone. It was alive with energy, humming with a rhythm that matched the pyramid itself. Anna stepped closer, her face pale but her eyes bright with wonder. This is not just a key, she said. It is a memory. I can almost feel it speaking. The Guardian's deep voice filled the chamber once more, rolling like thunder through the stone walls. The memory of the builders. The truth of their journey. It waits inside the crystal. Listen, and you will see. At those words, the crystal flared. Light burst outward, filling the chamber with a bright wave. The team shielded their eyes, but slowly the brightness softened into clear images floating in the air. The first vision showed tall beings unlike humans. Their bodies were slim, their heads crowned with ridges, their eyes glowing faintly. They stood together beneath a sky of two moons. Cities of crystal and metal rose around them, shining under strange stars. Anna whispered, "These are the ones who built the pyramid." The vision shifted. The beings were inside vast ships, leaving their home world behind. Stars passed around them as they traveled across the dark sea of space. The voice of the Guardian continued, steady and heavy. They sought new worlds. They sought peace. But others sought power. The image changed again. This time, dark ships appeared. They were sharp, jagged, and menacing, unlike the graceful vessels of the builders. A battle erupted among the stars. Explosions tore through the void, and planets burned. Louis gripped his lantern tighter. So they had enemies. And those enemies wanted their knowledge. The Guardian's voice lowered. The builders scattered. They carried seeds of knowledge to many worlds. Earth was one. Here they built the hidden house, a pyramid beneath the jungle. A place to keep safe the path to the stars. Mark looked at the projection of Earth that floated above the platform. He felt the weight of history pressing down on him. Humanity was not the first to walk this path. But now, it was their turn. The vision grew clearer. The builders placed the crystal inside the pyramid, locking it away under stone and soil. The Guardian appeared beside them, silent and still, waiting. Then the vision faded, leaving only the glowing star chart above the platform. Anna's voice shook with emotion. They wanted us to find this. They wanted humans to rise where they fell. The Guardian's eyes flared brighter. Humanity was chosen. Strong in spirit. Strong in survival. But danger still follows. The Dark Ones search. They smell the awakening. They will come. A heavy silence filled the chamber. The meaning of the words pressed hard against every heart. Daniel broke the silence with his steady voice. If these enemies are coming, then what do we do? We are not ready for battles in the stars. The Guardian responded, its voice calm but powerful. First step is knowledge. With knowledge, courage. With courage, defense. The crystal is the first gift. Others lie hidden. You must unite them. Only then can you face the shadow that hunts you. Luis frowned. Others. You mean there are more pyramids like this? The Guardian lifted its arm, and the star chart shifted. More glowing points appeared across the map, scattered across Earth and beyond. Lines connected them, forming a web of hidden sites. Anna's eyes widened. There are others on this planet, and maybe beyond it too. Mark stared at the map, his mind racing. Humanity had barely begun to touch space, yet here was proof that their world was part of something vast. Something ancient. Then this is just the beginning, he said quietly. The ground rumbled again, stronger this time. Dust rained from the ceiling, and the glowing map flickered. The Guardian's voice grew sharp. Time short. The shadow stirs. You must leave with the key. Protect it. Do not fail. The lights in the chamber dimmed as if the pyramid itself grew weaker. The crystal in Mark's hand pulsed brighter, as though urging him to act. Anna's voice trembled. It knows we are here. Whatever hunts this place, it is coming. Mark looked at his team. He saw fear in their faces, but also determination. They had found something far greater than treasure. They had uncovered a legacy. We take the crystal, he said firmly. We guard it with our lives. And we prepare for what's coming. The Guardian's eyes glowed one last time. Then you walk the path of the builders. Humanity has awakened. Do not fall as they did. With those words, the Guardian grew silent again. Its body stiffened, returning to stillness. The chamber dimmed, the star map faded, and only the crystal's glow remained. The team turned toward the corridor they had entered. Behind them, the pyramid hummed softly, like the last breath of a sleeping giant. As they began their climb back to the surface, the jungle above stirred. The birds had gone quiet, and the air grew heavy. The silence was not natural. It was the silence of something waiting. And though the sun still shone above the trees, each of them knew the truth. Humanity had stepped onto a new path, and the shadow that followed was already near. The jungle above the pyramid was quiet, too quiet. Mark led the team carefully through the thick undergrowth, the crystal pulsing softly in his backpack. The path back to the camp felt longer than before. Every shadow seemed heavier, every rustle sharper. Daniel paused and looked up. Something is not right. The air feels different. Watch the trees. Anna adjusted her hat and scanned the sky. I see movement, she said. Her voice was low but steady. In the distance, shapes appeared between the trees, moving fast and silent. They were unlike birds or animals. Dark, sleek, and sharp, they glided through the air with unnatural speed. Luis frowned. Those are not human aircraft. Those are the ones the Guardian warned about. Mark tightened his grip on his backpack. Then we have no time to waste. We need to reach the clearing and prepare. As they moved, the shapes above the jungle grew larger. The air vibrated with their engines, though the sound was strange, almost musical, yet threatening. The team ran, using every skill they had to move swiftly through the roots and vines. The jungle seemed alive, resisting them, but they pressed on, hearts racing. When they reached the clearing, the team saw the shadowed ships land slowly among the trees. Dark figures emerged, humanoid in shape but taller than humans, their eyes glowing faintly. Their armor reflected the jungle light, and their weapons were unlike any Mark had seen. Mark stepped forward and shouted, "We do not want trouble. We only want knowledge." The dark figures stopped, their glowing eyes scanning the humans. One of them raised a weapon that shone with blue energy. The others spread out, moving in formation. It was clear these raiders were experienced, disciplined, and dangerous. Anna whispered, "We are outnumbered. We need a plan." Mark looked at the crystal glowing through his pack. "The Guardian gave us this for a reason. Maybe it can help." Luis nodded. "We have to use everything we know. The jungle is our advantage. They cannot see everything here." The raiders advanced slowly, and then the battle began. The humans dodged and ran between trees, using vines to swing across gaps and hide in thick foliage. The raiders' weapons fired beams of light, cutting through branches and leaves. Sparks flew, but the humans were clever, using their knowledge of the jungle to avoid direct hits. Daniel moved like a shadow, his strength and skill helping him block attacks and pull his friends out of danger. Anna used quick thinking, directing the others through paths that confused the raiders. Mark kept the crystal safe, its glow pulsing steadily, as if giving them strength. The machines inside the pyramid had taught them courage. The Guardian's warning had prepared them. They fought not just for survival, but to protect the secret of the pyramid. Luis discovered something important. The crystal responded to the raiders' weapons. When a beam of energy struck near it, the crystal emitted a strong pulse, creating a force that pushed the attackers back. "It's defensive," he shouted. "The crystal protects us." Mark held the crystal high. A bright light burst from it, illuminating the entire clearing. The raiders staggered, their weapons flickering as the energy pushed them away. The humans took the chance to strike back, using logs and stones to drive the intruders further into the jungle. The battle continued, tense and exhausting. The raiders were skilled, but the humans' courage surprised even them. They adapted quickly, using every trick of the jungle and the crystal's power. Finally, after long minutes that felt like hours, the raiders paused. They retreated into the shadows, disappearing into the jungle with speed that was almost magical. The humans were left panting, bruised, and exhausted, but alive. Mark lowered the crystal, its light softening. "We did it," he said quietly. "We survived. But they will come again." Anna nodded, wiping sweat from her forehead. "And next time, they might be stronger. We have to be ready." Daniel looked around the clearing, his sharp eyes scanning the trees. "We fought well today. But the pyramid warned us about more than just these ones. This is only the beginning." Luis studied the crystal, still glowing softly in Mark's hands. "It is more than a weapon," he said. "It is guidance. It will show us the path forward if we follow it carefully." Mark looked at his team. They were tired, but determined. "Then we protect it. We learn from it. We prepare. Humanity has faced threats before, but now we face one that reaches beyond our world. And we will be ready. The jungle grew quiet again. The raiders had vanished, but the warning remained. Above them, the trees swayed, carrying the sound of the wind like a voice. The pyramid below had awakened. The crystal was their guide. And the next step in humanity's journey was waiting. The team returned to the shaft, carrying the crystal carefully. Each step felt heavier, yet stronger. They were no longer just explorers. They were protectors of a secret that could change the future of Earth. And far above the jungle, the sky was clear, but stars beyond the planet glimmered as if watching, waiting for humanity to take its place among them. The jungle was quiet after the battle. The air was heavy with the smell of wet earth and broken leaves. Mark and his team climbed carefully back into the clearing, carrying the glowing crystal. Its light pulsed softly, steady and calm, as if reassuring them. Anna looked around, her face showing both exhaustion and awe. "We survived," she said. "And we hold something incredible. Something that could change everything." Luis adjusted the straps on his pack and studied the crystal. "It is more than a guide or a key. It contains knowledge. Knowledge from beings far beyond Earth. We can use it to learn, to grow, and maybe even explore the stars." Daniel stayed quiet for a moment, his eyes scanning the trees as if expecting another attack. Then he nodded. "The raiders are gone for now. But the jungle is still full of secrets. And we have a responsibility now. This crystal, this pyramid, it is our duty to protect it." Mark felt the weight of the responsibility pressing down on him, heavier than any he had ever felt before. He looked at his team. Each of them was tired, bruised, and scared at times, yet their eyes shone with determination. "We are no longer just explorers," he said. "We are the keepers of a legacy left by those who came before us. Humanity has a chance to rise to something greater, and it begins here." The team returned to the pyramid shaft, descending into the chamber one last time. The glowing star map floated above the platform, more vivid than ever. The symbols along the walls pulsed softly, as if recognizing them. The guardian stood silent, watching. Its eyes glowed faintly, steady and calm, a reminder of the power and wisdom within the pyramid. Mark held the crystal over the platform. The light from it spread, filling the chamber. The star map responded, highlighting new routes and points among the stars. Lines connected Earth to distant worlds, showing pathways humanity had never imagined. Anna stepped closer, her voice full of wonder. "This is a guide, yes. But it is also a challenge. We have to prove ourselves worthy, to understand and use this knowledge wisely." Luis reached out, touching one of the glowing points. The crystal responded, sending a pulse of energy across the chamber. "It reacts to us. To our intentions. If we are careful, we can unlock more of it." Daniel moved to stand beside Mark. "Then we prepare. We study it. We learn how to defend it. We cannot allow others to misuse this gift." The guardian's deep voice echoed through the chamber once more. "You have faced fear. You have shown courage. You have protected what was hidden. Humanity has awakened. Walk the path with care. Protect the knowledge. Share it only when ready. The future is yours." Mark bowed slightly. "We will honor it. We will not fail." The team spent hours in the chamber, studying the crystal and the star map. Every symbol, every line, revealed a small part of a larger design. They discovered not just star paths, but lessons in strategy, technology, and history. The builders had left humanity a guide to grow, to prepare for the stars, and to survive challenges beyond Earth. As night fell over the jungle, the clearing above became quiet. The crystal's glow softened, blending with the moonlight. Mark looked up through the trees at the stars, feeling their light touch his face. For the first time, he felt connected to something larger than himself, something beyond Earth. Anna smiled softly. "We have found the key. But the journey is just beginning. Humanity has a chance to rise, to explore, to protect. And we are the first to carry this responsibility." Luis nodded. "We cannot keep this knowledge for ourselves alone. But we must choose wisely when and how to share it. Others may not understand its importance yet." Daniel stepped forward, looking down at the pyramid hidden beneath the jungle floor. "It has been waiting for us for centuries. Waiting for humans strong enough to find it, and smart enough to protect it. That makes us part of something much bigger than ourselves." Mark held the crystal tightly one last time. Its light pulsed warmly, as if acknowledging his words. "Then we move forward," he said firmly. "We protect, we learn, and we prepare. Humanity will rise. And one day, we will reach the stars." The team left the chamber and climbed back to the surface. Above them, the jungle stretched endlessly, dark and quiet. The pyramid lay hidden beneath layers of earth, silent and patient, yet alive with secrets. The crystals glowed dim to a soft pulse, waiting for the next step in humanity's journey. As they walked through the trees, the stars above shone brighter than ever. The humans had survived the threat, claimed the knowledge, and awakened a legacy left for them across time and space. They were no longer just explorers. They were guardians, carriers of a secret that could change the course of humanity forever. And for the first time, Mark looked at the sky and felt a sense of hope and purpose unlike anything he had ever known. Humanity had found its path, and the stars were waiting.